everyone. I'm Elena Armijo, and I'm the founder of the C-Suite Collective. This is a company I created for executive leadership coaching and wellness that supports C-suite executives, entrepreneurs, and founders. Now, more than ever, businesses are running faster and with fewer resources. Burnout, overwhelm, disconnection, and disillusionment are the new norm for teams struggling with an old paradigm. At the C-Suite Collective, we believe deeply that providing massive support for your teams through executive coaching and holistic practices will create an inclusive culture, higher levels of performance, sustainable change, and the organizational impact you desire. You can find us at the c-suitecollective.com. Are you afraid of trying something new? We'll look at that in our coaching tip for the week. And in our interview segment, we have Natalie Megules, a musician, entrepreneur, and baking extraordinaire. We hope you enjoy the episode today, and remember, something powerful resides within you. I'm here to support you in seeing it and creating it. Are you afraid of trying something new? Here's the thing. Great leaders are always looking for ways to try something new. When something isn't working, they simply stop and look at what else is possible that I haven't thought of. I often see leaders that come to me stuck in a pattern of doing things the same way over and over and over again and expecting different results. So one of the first things I do is sit down and say, okay, let's take a look at what is working and what isn't working. And what are the same things that you've been trying over and over and over again? I think it's an important reminder because oftentimes when we're in that pattern, we don't remember, hey, try something new, something I've never done before. This is not our natural instinct because anything new requires risk. And oftentimes leaders aren't in a position where they can have a lot of risk or take a lot of risks. So spend a minute slowing down and thinking, what's one thing I haven't tried that I'm willing to try, knowing that it might continue to fail and not work? And do it anyway. After you do this, track your results. What did you notice? What came up for you in the process that originally you were resisting? And what are you glad that you took a chance on? I hope this tip supports you in trying something new.
Today, I get to spend my day with the awesome Natalie Megules, and Cakerageous is her business. She has a voice studio. She's a fantastic singer. If you have not heard this woman sing, you need to go to her website immediately and check her out. The thing that I want you to know about Natalie, the reason I called her up is I think she is one of the most brave and courageous women I know, and she's full of life. Every single moment that I have spoken to you, Natalie, ever since we met, I have just been swept away by your light in the world and your energy and who you are. So welcome to the show.
Wow. Thank you for that intro. Jeez.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to know how I met Elena. So in case you were wondering how this girl shows up in the world, we were doubles in an opera and we were both playing this really fun character, Lady Pamela. It was so fun to be playing that, role with you. And I remember just kind of scooting off to the corner of rehearsal and be like, hi, can I borrow that thing you did? And,
Both of us.
So, yeah, just so,
that was good.
just so generous. And it was just so fun. And it was so, just one of my most favorite memories of performing was that particular show. And then looking into doing some coaching myself, and I saw that you were doing it, and I did some sessions with you, and it just changed my life. So go to this girl's website and hook up with her for some life-changing and explosive, shifts in your whole entire life. So thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that. I'm excited to be here to celebrate you as well. So
you are so kind. I'm just honored you would be here, and I can't wait to get into everything we're going to talk about today. So tell us a little bit about your home life and what's going on right now in land.
Yeah. So it's been, just so many months of just the messiest house. And Yeah, usually I have, kids cycling in and out of my house all day, for my voice studio. So, I stand at the front door and I do a scan like boop, 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 boop. Where is the visible mess? Like, where are the sight lines? Let me shove things in a closet out of, but at least it's, it's livable for humans to enter. And then it was like, no one was coming in the house. And I'm like, why would I pick up this pair of sweatpants? I don't have to do it. I don't want to. So now we're, I think it was like we watched every single Marvel movie. We ate all the things. And now I think we're reaching an equilibrium again. So we have little homeschool stations set up. So we have, little homeschool stations for the kiddos. And we got, their little area set up, and we're all just doing things on 4 different laptops, and
the Wi-Fi is being stretched.
We have 2 routers now and several holes in the wall with trying to string extra cords around. But our backyard looks amazing because we worked really hard on it because we weren't going anywhere.
Awesome.
And I have to say it's been wonderful to spend this much time with my husband and kids, because my husband's an entrepreneur too, and we're always in separate directions, and to be the 4 of us as a unit and not just like tag you're it. It's awesome. And all of the memes floating around about like, what a time to be childless, and, get some more, wine pouring. And I'm just like, I mean, I'll drink the wine, but also like, let's have a family movie night and watch Back to the Future, because we need to educate these children on glory.
Yes. Yeah.
But so, I mean, and sometimes I feel like bad, kind of saying it. Everybody's like, well, how's homeschool going? How's everything going? And I know so many of my friends are having a hard time, and kids are just it's hard. It's just hard. Yeah. And I am so very lucky that I'm in the position I'm in to make my own schedule, and so I feel kind of guilty being like, actually, we're doing great.
Well, I mean, but listen, this is what a lot of women, half and half, right? And I guess it is a very privileged conversation to be able to even feel guilt. But one of the things I've been talking about is instead of feeling guilty, what will you take on? And that's what I love about you, Natalie, is that since I met you, you were an entrepreneur. You and I have always had our hands in multiple things, right? And so you were never the singer that was just gigging all the time. Not that that's bad, but you were the one that wanted to do multiple things. And that's why you had already started a voice studio long ago. I remember long ago you were full. So I think it's fascinating that your way of life was already set up. And this is something that I talk to my coach a lot about, like what can we own or be responsible for about who we were being before the pandemic. What do you see in that for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like so this is a story I always tell is that Jay and I didn't take a vacation for like 7 years. So we went on our honeymoon, and then for 7 years we didn't take a vacation. And we were busy and we were kind of hustling and doing our thing. And then we came to this point. We'd gone through some things. I ended up miscarrying our 3rd baby, and it was just like boom. And I think that's right around the time we started talking, we catching up again, and it was just sort of like, okay, let's slow down, let's make it happen, let's go somewhere. And then I said, it's the reason we haven't taken a vacation in 7 years is because I don't have a life that I need to take a vacation from every day. And this is one of the things I want to talk about is this idea of vacation every day, that you can wake up. I just want to be excited to wake up every day and to do what I love to do. And I always say I retired at, I think it was like age 25, because that was finally when I, quit my restaurant job for real. And I was just working for myself. And the person I was before the pandemic was a hustler and a creator. And I have to figure out how to do this, and I'm going to figure it out. And if you tell me that it's going to be a challenge, or, I don't know, it's like, well, then I want to do it more. And the idea that you can always create more for yourself, and that's up to you. And I've watched some of my friends in the area. There's this pizza place. I have to shout out Brothers Pizza. Listen, and it's heartbreaking to see businesses kind of break down.
Yeah.
And there's so many challenges that are out of people's control, but they're this amazing pizza place in Hamilton, and just, oh my gosh, this multi-generational, and the whole family works there. It's such a like full of life place. And when the pandemic hit and everything shut down, like they were online, like, hey, we have paper towels, we have toilet paper. You want to buy some cans of beans? Like they took all of their back stock and just like,
Oh, wow.
they pivoted hard. And they are, they did, make your own pizza kits, and they had people pick up like dough, and they did such a great job of pivoting, and just every step of the way they figured it out. And, they opened up a bar right across the parking lot. So you can, sit on your app on your phone and order from the bar, and they'll walk it over to the outdoor patio to you. And,
wow.
And, I'm like, what is this going to be now? And I love the feeling of, it's like this double-edged sword of like loving the feeling of being in control. So it's, at the same time, this pandemic kind of blew apart this assumption that we were ever in control to begin with. But at the same time, you can create your own reality. And that's what I have tried to carry over here. And it's even just the cake stuff, starting this cake business. And it's something I've always done. And I've never talked about it because it's just something for me that brings me joy. And I remember being in college and, what's the latest episode of Cake Boss? I have to be, here to watch Cake Boss, because it was like before DVR. I was like running home to watch Cake Boss and Ace of Cakes, and learning all of that, and everything else is, from YouTube University. And just
the best.
Yeah, like right. So, and it's just something that you don't expect to survive in this, chaotic kind of time. But when people can't, they're just looking for a shred of normalcy. So when they can't celebrate and have a huge party, the cake is the one thing they might do for their kid. And it's the one special thing that they can take into that day. And just like every single student, I want to give something that will enrich their life and make their day better and make them feel empowered to go and follow their dreams in this small way. It's like, if I'm not getting applause on stage right now, not performing, it's like I started delivering some of my cakes too, because, my husband pointed out to me, like, Natalie, you just face it, you need the attention. You like the attention. And he's like, it's so hard for you.
Even in us need to be at some level.
Yeah, it's like I married him because of my mirror, all the stuff I don't want to see sometimes. But so supportive, and he's like, you're just creating art into this vacuum, and maybe you just need to, see the impact you're making, even with a cake. And I'm like, you're right. As much as I don't like to admit that I like the accolades, I mean, I do.
Oh, listen.
I'll just admit it. I love it.
I think I have 3 dogs. I'm like, at least somebody was here for you when I come in the room now.
Yeah.
No, well, but listen, we have to talk about these cakes because they really are. I mean, Natalie, hidden talent galore. We're not just talking about cakes. They're bomb ass cakes. When you started posting them, I was like, has she been able to do this whole time? And nobody knew. And then you said, and just watching people get so excited about what you create. I mean, legit, I was going to call you for Erin's birthday. And then, but we have a tradition where we make each other's cakes for each other on our birthday.
That's nice.
So I was like,
that.
Can I break tradition this one year? Because her cakes are awesome. So I'm still going to call you for one. But I mean, to your point, I think that pivoting in the pandemic is just another way you pivoted so quick, especially when students can come over. And I'm sure you're still teaching online, but even that slowed down for a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then I have a music directing job. So no choir, no in-person masses. And it was just like, I'm not playing the piano for anyone right now. So that kind of went away. And I was like, I have to figure this out right now. And, just what other, and being with the kids all day, and then the teaching in the afternoon at night, I'm like, I need some way to make income at 3 a.m. And I can't be showing my cakes. I have to bake them. I have to be a woman of integrity and not, what others, there's only like 2 things I can think about that I can make money at 3 a.m. And one of them is, go to work, and one's not.
Well, I mean,
I just took this interview to another direction.
No, I love it. We were talking the other day, and you said, what did you say? Something about like, I'm not allowed to get my OnlyFans page.
Cake Rageous is going to have an OnlyFans, and we're just going to I'm just going to be like icing cakes and decorating them, and maybe people will pay to watch me do that.
That would be amazing. We'll talk to Jay about it. We'll get him on.
My husband's the PTA vice president, so no, I can't. We have to be honorable.
That's the problem.
Right?
Oh, oh my gosh. Well, Natalie, I want to go back to for a second, actually. I mean, because you talk about working at 3 a.m. and having kiddos and doing all the things. And I even hear in that you're doing what it takes to
Yeah.
do the thing, but you're still living life from vacation mode. How are you
Yeah.
doing that?
I'll tell you, the most effective method is
Coffee, cigarette.
yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things that you just have to do what you have to do. And I've actually gotten a few new voice students. I had a bunch of seniors leave me, and this was also the year that I was going to pivot anyway away from, I had such a crazy schedule, like Monday through Friday, Saturday mornings, just like from school, after school to bedtime, just loaded with students, church on the weekends too. So I had like this tiny window of time that I, had free on like a Sunday afternoon or late Saturday night that I would make for my, family to see the children I birthed. So my little one is in kindergarten this year. So it was, I was going to shift to more daytime students and just, having more time at night open. And I, even in this situation, like, could I have hustled for more voice students? This is the first time in years and years I'm not on a wait list. Had like 10 seniors graduate this year. And I purposely, didn't try to fill those spots so that I could have more of my nights open. And I'm like, I'm actually still, yes, could I, at this point, we get in our zone and it's like, here's the things I can make money, a lot of money in a short amount of time. And I'm good at it because I've spent 20 years getting to a point where I can charge what I charge for a lesson or for my performances or for my music directing or, playing organ or whatever. And could I make so much more money in a quicker amount of time teaching and getting more voice students and actually, finishing my website and getting, advertising for the first time. And I said, I'm still not willing to give up any shred of time that I've worked so hard to get to this place. And this is something we talked about, back in the day. I said, I would rather stay up all night till 3 a.m. making a cake and be able to put my kids to bed instead of, taking that one extra lesson that's going to push me into a late night. I'm just not willing. So I know my limits, I think, in terms of sleep and whatever, but I try really hard to, meditation is just such a thing. And I love, my boy Eckhart Tolle, with yes. So in the middle of the night when I'm already like, hallucinating because I'm so tired, I sit up late and I listen to YouTube videos and I'm listening to all of these. I've gotten into some things I shouldn't listen to at 2 a.m, like, parapsychology and like afterlife experiences, like near-death experiences. But in all of this stuff, I've had this like spiritual awakening of, like this fast of, I'm fasting on, sleep.
Oh my goodness.
But one of the things he says is, to sit there in a room, for an hour a day and meditate is not always going to work. But my life is very, very full. But he said, try these mini meditations where you're noticing as you're washing your hands. That's a meditation. You just notice how the water feels on your hands and you notice how, the soap smells. And just in that tiny moment of something you're doing anyway, something where you're always rushing to the next thing, in that moment, it's like all that matters. His book, The Power of Now, like all that matters is right now. And for me, it's like, I have to do what I have to do to, function in the daily, business of life. But late at night, at 3 a.m, when I'm like, I'm so tired, I do have to catch myself and just do this instant kind of meditative thing where I'm like, you don't have to do this. You get to do this. You don't have to answer to anybody else. This is the life you wanted and created where you are in control. You have chosen to be up at 3 a.m. doing this cake because you don't want to sacrifice any time with your kids. And just slapping icing on these cakes and just like the perfect lines. It's just, that is a meditation for me. So it is, in a way, I'm getting less sleep, but I'm getting so much extra time for myself and reflective. And I try so hard. It's just cake, but I try so hard to make it, whether or not somebody's going to, be so excited, as excited about a cake as I am to make it, it's still something that is for me because it's of my creation, So
yeah, you pour your soul into it. But I also hear that you just have this, like, this shall be about entrepreneurship. And I always right? Like, I mean, gosh, I'm with you. If I ever have to work for anybody again, I'm like, no.
I know. But why? I could just work just as hard making my own dreams come true as I can making somebody else's dreams come true. And then I get to decide everything that happens around it. So it's like it has to be, because I could not want ever to work for anybody else ever again. I actually kind of love the fact that, I did a communion service yesterday, and I sat at a piano bench, and it was like just easy, because I've worked hard at it for 20 years, and it's easy for me to sit down, pick the music on the spot, and just recite, read, or play what I have to do. It was beautiful, and it was everything it needed to be. But like, where is the cheapest butter? Oh gosh. And it's like, I kind of love feeling scrappy again, and just there's such a rush that comes from like just kind of scrapping together all of this new knowledge and gathering things, and it feels so exhilarating to, it's like whatever that thing is in the brain, that the new experiences, whatever that thing that lights up, part of the brain, it's exhilarating. It's so silly, but like, where is the cheapest butter? I have to find the cheapest butter. But that's just a piece of the next thing that's going to get me to where I'm going with this, like I did with my studio, like I did with my performing, like I did with, having a baby. And then in the hospital, I was like, oh, I've only changed one diaper before in my life. And figuring that out on the fly, and they're alive still. I mean, they're still alive. I'm really proud of them.
Them alive.
I kept them alive.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually curious, like, what did you have to give up? What belief? We call it limiting beliefs in coaching. You know that as a trained coach, but it's like, what did you have to give up to be able to step into being a mom, being an entrepreneur? Like, what's that thing?
I think the entrepreneur thing, there's, I think there's a few different things. One is everything's going to be okay, because it has to be. What other option is there? What other option is there? The feeling like, if I choose this, I might not be okay. And it's actually funny, because it's still, a thing that I cycle through all the time. Are my kids going to be okay? Like, trusting myself to know that, yes, your kids are going to be okay, coupled with the limiting belief of, what is everybody else going to think? I'm not good enough. What is everybody else doing? I'm not doing this well enough. I'm not doing that well enough. Seeing, so much of my business with the cake stuff comes from online yard sale sites, and like, I need a cake, Hamilton moms, and we'd be like, hi, I can make your cake. Oh, you want it tomorrow? Okay, sure. But seeing all these like other people get tagged, and like, I know they're pastry chefs, and I know they're trained. I know they, and just being like, am I good enough to make your cake? And like, oh God, I should just let the pastry chefs do it. And the advice from well-meaning older women about, mom advice, and being like, no, I know I'm afraid of what you're going to think, but I have to trust that I am good enough. It's just, I think that's the overarching, limiting belief. And with the singing and the teaching, like, I don't have an education degree. I'm not qualified to teach, but my brother is a music teacher, and he said, Natalie, you have to remember, like, you have all this experience. The kids coming to you for the first time, they don't even know how to breathe yet.
Right.
You'll be fine. They don't know how to stand up straight yet. You're so much further ahead than you think you are. And that bell curve of like, experience versus like, self-confidence. And I think I'm kind of getting to, sort of the downgrade of like, I've put in my 10,000 hours for singing, at least, and for momming, it feels like 10,000 hours, but it's the knowledge that, and even with the coaching stuff, like going to the program and hearing all the things like, what is your niche going to be? What is your niche going to be? What is your niche going to be? And thinking I had to create this whole new thing. But really, I'm like, my niche is teenagers who love to sing. And I already do that. I already do that. So, and I don't want to do any, like, I love my teaching and just realizing that, like, all the other teachers in the air, like, oh, I'm not good enough because they have, they're talking about the, 50% critical thyroid engagement versus the written. And I'm just like, what I do, that's not realizing that's not what I'm here for. I'm not the teacher who's going to tell you about the vocal formant percentages or whatever. I'm just making that up. I'm not going to be that teacher. I'm going to be the teacher that when you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm not good enough. I'm like, yes, you are. And that's all a kid needs to hear sometimes. Like, I'm the life coach voice teacher, I
love it.
Like, that's what I am. But it's something I still have to battle every day, sometimes. And it's, so I think that's just the biggest thing. It's very broad, but, and also the other thing that, like, everybody's looking at me. No one's looking at you. just live your life. No one's looking at you as hard as you think they
They're
are.
looking
And
at
if
their
they
own
are,
story.
that's their problem. Yeah. If they are, that's their problem. And you get to just live without other people's permission,
Oh, that's so good. So tell me a little bit about you and Jay. I think that the two of you have the most incredible marriage.
Oh, thank you.
And hearing you speak about your relationship and your support for each other, what's it? Well, tell people how long you've been married and what the support system is like.
So we just celebrated our 11-year anniversary, wedding anniversary.
Nice.
But December 3rd will be our 20-year anniversary of being together. So we got to.
And you're like my age.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I found a nice one. I'm just going to be lazy. I don't have to, it's too hard. Not going to look. Listen, we put our cat on Tinder just to laugh at. Yes, Gizmo is on Tinder just because, late night we're like, what do we do during the pandemic? Let's put our cat on Tinder just to see. And even it's such a picture of a cat and people are terrible. I'm like, oh, thank God I was just like, you're nice, great, forever. He is amazing. He's awesome. The first time I fell in love with him, in high school, his nephews came over to hang out. His youngest nephew was 6 months at the time, and the older one was around 6 or 7. And I watched the way he played with them, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, we had a conversation later. It was 16. We were 16 and 17. I said,
16 and 17.
Yeah.
16 years old.
Yeah. And I said, I don't know if I want kids someday. I just, whatever. I don't like kids. I still don't know. I'm just kidding. And I remember him being very serious as this 17-year-old boy and saying and we talked after 3 months of being together, we were already talking about when we get married, when we're together someday, when, we have a life someday. And I just knew. It's so silly to say that. I just knew. I knew he was it. And I remember him getting serious and being like, I think we really need to reevaluate the future of our relationship if you don't want children. I was just like, wow.
17.
And it's just he's always been that person who knows what he wants and what his future is going to look like. And I was like, okay, maybe all right, I guess I'll have kids. So, but the kind of father he is just made me fall in love with him even more. And the cool thing about being together for 20 years is that I'm not with the person I was when we were 16 and 17.
No,
I've had 4 different, it's I get a new boyfriend or husband every 3 years. He just molts and becomes a new creation. It's always exciting, but it's based on just the core. I mean, besides the love part, because that's just that's just there. It's just history. The thing that holds everything together is the respect. He respects. He doesn't always agree with the crazy ideas I have sometimes, visiting my brother in Massachusetts and being like, oh, I'm going to be a gym tourist. I'm going to check out a new gym. Let me find a trainer that I've never met before and go meet with them in their basement, 4 a.m. to work out. And he's like, that's not a good idea. So he's, I always say he's the anchor to my balloon. And I would just float away into the stratosphere with all of the, just wild ideas I have. And he's the anchor that holds down that balloon and kind of he is the, I was looking at your question. It's who, what's your assistant's email? And he's like, Jay Dugan at, but we just, whatever the other one doesn't do, the other one does. And we function really well as a unit. And he has never been in the way of any of my dreams. He has let me, even if it means sacrificing time together, even if it means sacrificing money, even if it means sacrificing just, I don't know, the electric bill so that I can go buy, whatever. Not that we're doing that,
Yeah.
But if I wanted to not pay the electric bill so I can buy another industrial mixer for my baking, he'd be like, okay, great. Let's bake some cakes. And vice versa. We've just kind of lived in this, I think it's the best case scenario where we are 2 whole people and we get to share life together. And that's always been our relationship. And I think because we've never spent any time together is probably why we still like each other. But even, shoved into this situation where we're together 24/7, he's my best friend. I just really like him. He's just great. He's just cool.
Yeah.
And I just admire his talents. And I think we're just like each other's super fans.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I really wanted to highlight it because I've been talking to a lot of women on this show about support and what their teams look like. And he just seems like a big part of your team. And we often hear about like the woman behind the powerful man. And I mean, really, this has been the man behind the powerful woman. And how cool that is, and that it's possible. I think that's what I want to highlight is I think that a lot of women feel like that's still impossible in today's day and age. And you've created it.
Yeah, it's for sure. I mean, and he is the one who really is the anti gremlin, every time I'm like, oh, I can't. He's like, yes, you can. Like, stop it. Yes. Like you can here's what I've watched you do. And he reminds me of who I am. And he holds up that mirror and I try to do the same for him. But it's just like, he talks me off the ledge, and he really is the reason behind so many of my successes, because he just shoved me out there. And as much as I look on the outside, like I am this, 100% extrovert and I am, but what it takes me to get there sometimes, I mean, he's always been the push,
Massive support. Yeah. And everyone needs it.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron too. His favorite line is, where is my powerful partner?
Yep.
Okay. So what do you hope to see for the world?
I hope that people start being nice to each other. So in my 3 a.m. haze of listening to all of these near-death experience interviews, we're just going to go right there. We're going to teleport.
Yes.
It's all a hologram. Nothing matters. But and whether or not you're a person of faith, or you believe in this metaphysical thing, or whether you want to just believe in like scientific materialism and like, whatever the building blocks and it's all atoms and quarks, either way, you can listen to these interviews and say, this person has had a profound experience, and they all have this amazingly transformative change in their life after they experience this thing. And every single time they say, what I learned was, what I felt was unconditional love. I've never felt unconditional love like that in the presence of, and I think anybody can experience that. Search for it if you meditate, if you actively search for this thing. And it's so tempting to get in online fights, and just the comment section is like the seventh circle.
Oh my gosh, and all the forums.
Yeah, and there's 7.5 billion of us. We're not all going to be the same. We're not going to think the same. We're not going to, do I internally, like my lizard brain, want to slap people for their beliefs sometimes? Yes, I totally do. But I think the idea that if we keep striving for that, towards that unconditional love, and that means, really having to find a way to work with the people that I'm just going to say hate sometimes, that we feel that just look at the internet. It's like just this visceral hatred just pervades so much of this activity. And we have to work together. And in addition to being nice, we also have to realize that one person is not going to change the world for us. And we have to stop waiting and feeling like what's on the news and what's going on in our communities and what's going on with people in positions of power is going to, it's like we're just waiting. It's like, oh, I have to wait until, I see if we're okay. Are we going to be okay? And yes, do real, nuts and bolts laws and legislation really affect people? And do we have to fight against, all of the systems in place? Yes, we do. But also, we don't have to wait for somebody to sit in the big chair at the top to change our communities for us. The fact that we're waiting for this one person. It's like, who's in the chair now? Are we going to be okay, or are we not going to be okay? Just stop it. You have control over what happens in your home. And whether or not, I had this beautiful experience, early motherhood, exhaustion, feeling like I was just getting it all wrong. And I went to this women's group at this church. I only went like once or twice. And I just was like in this, like, I wasn't doing enough. Oh my God, like juggling a newborn and like, 2 jobs and going back to work after, 2.5 weeks after giving birth or whatever, or 3.5 weeks, like wasn't enough. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I have to work on my spiritual self. And and this one woman said, you don't have to go on a mission to some, country to build change in this way in your spiritual life. She's like, what does the Bible say? Like to, whatsoever you do to the least of my people. And he said, this woman said, you're wiping butt, and that's the least of his people. And that matters. She's like, every time you wipe a countertop or clean a toilet, she's like, you're serving your family and you are catering to the least of his people. And it's creating what you can where you are in that moment. And that's in your own heart and mind first. Before you get to the top, before you get to, picketing and protesting and changing legislation, you have to change this first and this first. Then you start with your family. Then you start with your neighbors, face to face, not online, talking to human beings. And it's, I so often just be like, oh, like the trigger finger is happy, like the unfriend button. I want to, but I hold myself back, and I keep in touch with people who I really don't agree with, and they are wild on the internet. And then I meet with them in real life, and I remember seeing them face to face. Like, they talk about their fears, and they are just scared people like you and I and the rest of us. They're just fragile. We're all just fragile humans trying to figure it out. And it's I have to find there's a woman who does this beautiful work online, and it's all about kind of social justice, working towards like racial equity through the eyes, through the lens of being a Christian. And she said she kind of hesitates to comment on the specifics of how people act and whatever. She said, you know what, this is just the messy part of sin. This is the messy part. And whether we're going to call it like sin or human nature or whatever perspective or lens you want to see the world through, it's the messy part of sin, and working through seeing somebody with that unconditional love, even when you want to knock them out. It's so hard. But I think to answer, to kind of fully circle back to your question, that's what I want to see for the world in this year. And just, everybody kind of got knocked off their feet with realizing what's actually important. And, we can't actually see grandma right now because she's in the nursing home and we're not allowed to see her, and finding the creative ways that people still, want to be connected. And we have to stop acting like, the syndrome astronauts experience when they just see the world like it was like this little ball for the first time. They come back to Earth and they're like, why are we fighting? This is so stupid. We're all here on this like ball, and like we're creating literally imaginary lines in the sand and yelling at each other when we cross these lines that we've created, just these little ants running around. It's just to pull back and see what is important and how one person can make such a difference. And if everybody just stepped into their power, and that's what I want for the world. If every single person stepped into their power and stopped waiting for everybody else to create their reality for them.
Hell yes.
Man.
Step into your power. That's your sign. Your sign for the new year. Step in.
Yes, if you move your head just a little bit to the left, you can put that little crown on your head. See? The little dinosaur's crown?
Oh, this one? Here. Oh, the little basketball crown.
There you go.
Perfect. Look at that. I need to reposition myself permanently. Step into my power.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my God, Natalie, I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Thank you for today. This conversation is incredible. And you are pure passion, power, light, and glow, and service and divinity and source. So thank you. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. Thanks for sharing the gold. And more importantly, I just love you so much.
I love you so much. Thank you for creating this space for me to step into.
That's right.
Power. And for you to showcase your very amazing talent of being able to facilitate these conversations and bringing out the best in other people. So I thank you for that. And celebrate and acknowledge you.
I love
to steal from your coaching. Let's celebrate and acknowledge you for. Jay and I say, by the way, Jay and I say that all the time. And I'm like, he's like, I just want to celebrate and acknowledge you. I know. Hashtag thanks, Elena.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
If this conversation sparks something for you, let it move through your week. Take it with you. Take on one small action to move the ball forward. And if you want to join our community of leaders who are daring to lead with courage and heart, you can find that at www.elenaarmijo.com or www.thec-suitecollective.com. I reserve a small number of complimentary 20-minute sessions for leaders who want clarity on what they need and insight into what is getting in the way. The practical next steps that create real movement and results in your leadership journey. So you can schedule a call through the link below. It's in the description. Like, subscribe,
Thank you for listening, for showing up, and for doing the work of being human together.